lesson, Children at Work tells us a tale of an 11-year-old boy who had ran away from his village as he could not handle his father beating him up for one more day. And he got into a train to Chennai without a ticket. Upon reaching the city, he had no idea what he would do or how he would manage to stay alive. This story tells us how children like him end up working instead of studying at schools where they truly belong. When the Kanyakumari Express pulled in at Chennai Central, it took Velu some time to get off. When he finally stood on the platform, his legs felt wobbly as if he was still on a moving train. Oi! Out of the way! A porter went by with a loaded trolley. Velu jumped aside. Here we can see the protagonist, the central character, Velu, could not get off the Kanyakumari Express, that is a train. Okay, Kanyakumari Express is a train, easily when it arrived at the Chennai Central Station. And his legs felt unsteady as if he was still in a moving train when he got out of and stood on the platform. One generally gets this feeling after traveling in a train, and as he stood there, a porter came with a loaded trolley asking Velu to step aside, and Velu got out of his way. He sat on a bench on the platform, putting his small bundle down. In all his 11 years, he had never seen so many people except once a year at the fair in his village. People walked by, bumping into him with their suitcases. A voice announced something on a loudspeaker. Near him, a group of people sat on their luggage, looking at a TV hanging from the roof. The noise was terrible. Here we can see the child, Velu. He found a small bench on the platform, and he sat on it and kept his bundle down. There were so many people around him, and he had never seen a lot of people together except only once every year at the village fair. People passed by him and rammed into him with their suitcases. And he heard an announcement on the loudspeaker which he probably did not understand. And people even sat on their luggage around him as they looked at the TV that hung from the roof. And the noise was horrifying for him. Velu put his head down on his knees, feeling miserable and exhausted. He had run away from his village 2 days ago. For 2 days he had eaten nothing but some peanuts and a piece of jaggery. In his bundle he carried a shirt, a towel and a comb. He had walked for most of the first day to Kannur and then got on the train to Chennai. Velu had no money for a ticket, but luckily the ticket collector didn't come to the unreserved compartment. He had tried to sleep on the floor near the door. A group of men next to him had played cards and shouted all night. Velu kept his head on his knees. He was so sad and tired as he had ran away from his home 2 days earlier. And in those days, he had eaten just peanuts and a chunk of jaggery. And the small bundle that he carried with him consisted of a towel, a shirt, and a comb. And of those 2 days, he had almost running on his foot for the first day as he went to Kannur. And after that, he boarded a train to Chennai without a ticket. And because he was not having money to buy the ticket. And luckily for him, the ticket collector did not check the unreserved compartment. He tried sleeping on the floor near the door but couldn't because a group of men sitting near him played cards and made noise all throughout the night. Eh? What? New to town, eh? Called out a rough noise. Velu opened his eyes. There were a lot of people standing around him, but nobody was looking at him. Here, eh? He turned around. Behind him was a girl around his own age, wearing a long banyan that came down to her knees. Her hair was stiff and brownish, and she had a huge sack on one shoulder. She was picking up dirty plastic cups from the floor and stuffing them into her sack. Why is she calling me? Thought Velu. And why is a girl wearing a banyan? No need to stare stupidly. What's her name? Velu, muttered Velu, looking away. So, Mr. Velu, said the girl, looking at his bundle, run away from home? Suddenly, Velu heard a rough voice saying, "Eh? What? New to town, eh?" Upon hearing this, he opened his eyes and looked around to see who said it. But no one was looking at him. And he heard a voice again from behind telling him to look there. And as he turned back, he saw a girl of almost his age wearing a loose banyan that was so big that it almost reached her knees. Her hair was hardened and somewhat brown in color. She carried a big bag on her shoulder in which she put all the dirty cups she collected from the floor. And Velu wondered why she was talking to him and why a girl is wearing a loose banyan. Banyan is generally worn by males, and this is a girl, and why is she wearing it? As Velu was wondering about all this stuff, the girl told him to stop staring at her. And she asked his name. And he told her it was Velu, while trying not to make eye contact with her. The girl noticed his small bundle that he carried with him and asked him if he had run away from home. So this girl is so brilliant. She understood that Velu had run away from his home. Velu didn't answer. He didn't want to tell some strange girl what he had done. He had run away because he couldn't stand his father beating him for more day. His father would snatch away all the money Velu and his sisters earned and spend it on drink. Don't think I don't know. This place is full of children like you. So what are you going to do here? Become rich? She sat down next to him. Velu shifted away slightly. He felt hunger pinching him and pressed his stomach with a grimace. Hungry? Asked the girl. You won't get food by sitting here gloomily making faces. I can find some if you want. So when the girl asked Velu if he left his home and ran away, Velu chose not to answer her. He chose not to share it with someone unfamiliar. And he had actually run away because he had enough from his father hitting him and could not take it for one more day. His father would take away all the money Velu and his sisters earned to pay for his drinks. And the girl continued to talk and told him not to think that she is unaware of people running away from their homes. She in fact told him that the place had too many children like him. She asked him what he was going to do there and if his intention was to become rich like most children. As she spoke, she sat beside him. Velu moved away a bit. Velu was extremely hungry by that time and could even feel a pain in his stomach because of it. Because of hunger, he can feel a pain in his stomach. As he pressed his stomach with a painful expression on his face, the girl asked him if he was hungry. She told him that he would not have any luck with food if he continued sitting here with a depressed face, gloomy face. Furthermore, she even offered to help him with food. She picked up her sack and started to walk away. Velu stayed on the bench. What should he do? Should he follow this girl? Where was she going to take him? She was disappearing in the crowd. So he had to make up his mind quickly. All right, he decided. Anyway, I have no idea where to go. He jumped up and ran after her. She wasn't even looking back to see where he was. So once the girl finished talking, she got up, picked up her sack and began walking. And Velu, on the other hand, continued sitting on the bench. He was not sure if he should follow her. And he was unaware of where the girl would take her, but he had to make a decision instantly, quickly, because the girl was about to disappear in the crowd. And he thought to himself that he did not have anywhere else to go. Otherwise, So he finally made up his mind and ran after her to catch up with her speed. The girl did not even bother to check he was able to follow her. So this is all for today. The remaining portions I will explain in the next session. Thank you for watching.